Coming up today on Retirement Made Simple. For some of you, it's the dreaded T word. It's complicated, it's frustrating, and it's something you have to deal with every year: taxes. But today, you'll learn ways to navigate the tax code so you can make decisions that help you keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket, not Uncle Sam's. Retirement Made Simple starts right now.
This is Retirement Made Simple with E.A. Buck. E.A. Buck focuses on finances, preservation, and retirement. Led by Chief Executive Officer Katie Buck and Chief Investment Officer Jeff Buck, E.A. Buck helps you grow and preserve what you've worked a lifetime to build. Each week, Katie and Jeff help you tackle some of the biggest challenges in retirement, including retirement planning, retirement taxes, wealth management, Social Security, and navigating federal benefits. Welcome to Retirement Made Simple.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Amy Sharp here with Katie Buck, CEO of EA Buck Financial Services. And the dreaded T word. No one really looks forward to discussing taxes, but at EA Buck, you have created a business that turns that negative into a positive. What do you do for your clients? What does this look like, Katie? Because I know this is something people are perking their ears up about.
You mean you're not excited come April 15th to, get in and file those returns?
Not so much.
Well, the reality is that we all have to do it, right? Thinking about some of the massive cost centers that we face every year, it starts with tax. And so when we formed our business almost 50 years ago, we decided we were going to build it on life's two guarantees, which were death and, taxes. The reason for this, though, was that my father-in-law was a school teacher, and he had the privilege to earn a high amount of wealth when he was taking a high school science class on an excursion, and they had a side business in order to fundraise some money. The result of that, though, was that the government came and took a lot of it. So what he decided to do was teach the secrets of the wealthy. And he thought that everybody, regardless of wealth, should know this. So we started a company. And as a result today, we are now educating and have been educating for decades people about the loopholes that exist within inside of the tax code.
Okay, you say not all taxes are the same. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, it's kind of ironic. Not only are they not the same, but there's different ways you can calculate them. So one of the things we try to point out, for example, is there's something that resides within the tax code, and the difference comes down to your federal and your state taxes. So you go to work and you get your paychecks, right? At the top of the line, that's the gross. And then at the bottom, what you put into the bank account, well, that's your net. In between, the federal government, the state government, and FICA came and took a little bit of the action on it. Here's the deal, though. The money that you gave to the state, that gets fully deductible to you every year. But when you pay the federal government, they don't allow you to deduct it. Let me give you an example. Say you and your husband were earning maybe like $100,000. $20,000 might scoot off to the federal government and $8,000 went over to the state. Well, when you calculate the taxes on what is due, they're going to calculate it off of $92,000. But think about this. The $20,000 you paid to the federal government, you didn't see that money, did you?
No.
Yet you don't get to take the write-off for it. So what this means is the dollars that you pay to the federal government, you're going to have to earn extra money to pay the taxes due on the taxes paid. How much? Well, almost 30 to 50%. So what we focus on is if we can put more money on your bottom line, if we can help families for every $1,000 we save for them, it's really like putting $1,300 to $1,500 back in their bank account. And every investor would love to find a guaranteed 30 to 50% return. We simply just do it, again, with the loopholes existing inside of that tax code.
We're letting you do all the hard work for us. That's what I like. Two ways to calculate our taxes. I've never really heard of this before, and it seems like it's something that you do every single day, obviously, with your clients. How does it work?
Crazy. You've been filing taxes for years, and yet you've never heard that there's two ways to calculate. Well, you're pretty familiar, I assume, with at least the 1040. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the 1040 is one way in which we are calculating your obligation. But on that tax sheet, there's a line that is called the AMT. What that stands for is the alternative minimum tax. Now, Amy, if I cover up the words alternative, what two words follow that?
Okay, minimum tax.
Perfect. So if the AMT is the minimum tax, what does that make your 1040?
The maximum.
And funny, you've only been calculating the maximum tax.
Okay.
Now, the good news for you is this. The government's going to calculate it both ways. So what we try to do is we try to predict for our clients because we have a one-page tax forecast sheet that we put together for every client that comes in and sees us. What this does, though, is it shows you, hypothetically, maybe your 1040 is, say, $20,000, and your minimum tax is $14,000. By being able to know what that is in advance, what we'll do is we'll work with you so that we can help bring the 20 down to the 14, so you get to keep the difference. Pretty cool.
This is incredible. And I think about, as you're talking, why aren't we made more aware of this? This is something that's like a hidden secret that we're not being told.
It's so frustrating. When you think about the years that we spend in education, I'm a mom, I have 7 kids. I've got a couple in college and all the way down to 3rd grade. Yet there's very little financial education and almost nothing when it comes to the tax code. So it's not your fault if you're not getting the information you need potentially in order to really maximize what the tax loopholes can be for you. Our focus at EA Buck is education first. And we sit down and walk you through it, and we take the complex and we do make it simple.
Thank you so much, Katie. More to come. Here's how you can request your no-cost tax summary guide to help you begin to unravel the hidden secrets of the tax code. Up next, if you thought these insights were mind-blowing, then you won't want to miss our next segment. Katie will be back to show you how the tax code came about and who is really burdened with taxes today. I promise it will shock most of you. Stay tuned.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
I'm here with Katie Buck, CEO of EA Buck Financial Services. Katie's been sharing some valuable insights about the tax code today. What can you tell us about how this all got started, where we are today?
I think a little bit of history kind of gives you some perspective on what we're dealing with.
Going back to history class?
Oh, gosh, well, I said we were committed to education, right?
I hear it. Let's hear it.
Never too late to start learning. When we actually think about what the tax code was, it started in 1913, and our government did what our government always does, which it made a promise that said, hey, we're only going to tax the very wealthy. So, Amy, they promised only the top 1% would have to pay the tax because it would start if you made, in 1913, $20,000 a year of income. Now, perspective on this would adjust it for inflation today to over $750,000. So it sounded pretty good. And not only did they promise that the tax code would only tax the top 1%, they said, oh, it's not going to cost you a lot because the bracket, it's only going to start at 10%. So the good voters in America said, let's get at it. Now, what do you think the government did very quickly with the tax code?
Changed it, of course.
Of course. And what they did is they changed it, and they changed it aggressively. They ratcheted those rates to actually over 70% within just a handful of years of originating the tax code. And of course, today, it's not just the top 1% anymore that's paying the taxes, right?
Absolutely. And let's dive into that just a little bit more. Let's talk about how the tax rates have changed over the years. We've seen so many ups and downs with our tax rates. What does that mean for us? What does that look like?
Well, it's really important, I think, that we understand where taxes are today and where we've come from, because by perspective, I think nobody really enjoys paying extra taxes. But these are kind of the tax good old days. That 10% rate, like I said, jumped to over 70%, and it remained there for over 50 years. So can you imagine losing half of your income to taxes? The tax cuts, though, didn't actually start until Reagan got into administration. And interestingly enough, about the time that he began to bring these rates down, and many of us are familiar with that, it happened as a result of something known as ERISA. And ERISA was going to change the way we're going to take care of our retirements. So what was going on is, as the rates were coming down, Amy, what they were doing is they were moving away from something known as a defined benefit, and they created this thing called a defined contribution. The bottom line was a defined benefit was maybe what you hear today as a pension, compared to a defined contribution is a 401k. Well, whose money is it that goes into a pension compared to whose money goes in a 401k? An employee's money goes in a 401k, right?
Big
you
difference,
and I,
yeah.
Huge. Well, think about this. Tax rates are declining. At the same point in time, we're seeing employees contributing towards their own retirements. And the government is thinking about this in terms of the largest population ever going to work, the baby boomers. It was going to be a payday, a huge one, that was going to happen for the government when those boomers moved into retirement.
Okay.
So as we think about where the brackets are and those changes and what they mean, then that maybe changes how we should take care of ourselves and what kind of funding we want to do in our retirements, because it's not just what your taxes are today that count, but it's maybe what they're going to be tomorrow too.
Let's go back to when you mentioned a few minutes ago that the tax code, when it was first created, it was meant for the less than 1% of the population.
Correct.
Clearly, a lot more people are affected by taxes today. And really, like you said, we can't avoid them. We'd love to. They're never going away, though.
Well, I'm sure you've heard of the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the kids get 80% of the good grades, 20% of the criminals commit 80% of the crimes. Well, the IRS kind of works it the same way. Our top 25%, and if you're taking a look on the screens with me, what you'll find is they are paying 88% of all of the taxes collected. And most people watching this are going to think, that's great news, right? It's only the top 25% paying. But here's the catch. If you're in America today and you're a husband and wife team and you earn a little over $87,000 a year, adjusted gross, that puts you in the top 25%. And I don't know about you, but $87,000 for a family raising a couple kids, that definitely doesn't make you uber wealthy. And they're responsible for paying the gross majority of the taxes. Half of America actually pays less than 1% of the total tax. So what we wanted to do at EA Buck is we wanted to pay really special attention to those really hardworking families, because we could see that the money that was going out the back door to Uncle Sam was severe. And if we could help shore that up a little bit and put more of it into our clients' bank accounts, we thought that would be a pretty big difference for them.
Taxes, a big topic for a lot of people. And I think listening to you with this knowledge, like you said earlier, education, so important. A lot of people, we just aren't really educated. And that changes when we take the time, sit down with an advisor, someone trusted like you, that can help us through this, guide us through this, and be a little more proactive.
Well, our job in the financial services space is to give you a really well-rounded and a comprehensive approach, right? But we couldn't ignore the largest expense to most families, which is taxes. So it's why we created our proprietary one-page sheet. And what's really cool about it is in a matter of 20 minutes, we can accurately forecast where you're going to end up at the end of the year. Now, the fun part is if we know where you're going, then we can maybe find some ways to solve for, like I said, redirecting that money back to your bank account instead of to Uncle Sam at the end of the year.
Do you hear that? She said the fun part. It's fun for her. and that's the best part. And it's crafted for each individual. And I think that's what we all want. We all want our own retirement. We have our own dreams and goals.
You know, no two families are the same. So we thought it was important that we would be able to document and help prescribe a plan that was unique to everyone. Why? Because at the end of the day, we just wanted our clients to be more confident and be able to know that what they were doing were the right things, and just to pay their fair share of taxes at the end of the day would make total sense.
All right. Great information. Thank you so much. Straight ahead, we'll put Katie to the test in our round of Retirement IQ. And later, Katie shares some simple, actionable steps that you can take to help improve your financial future, to help ensure your wealth is landing in your bank account, not the government's. We'll be back.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work toward your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
And now it's time to put our knowledge to the test with this week's Retirement IQ. And Katie's actually the one that's in the hot seat, but you play along at home. Are you ready for this?
Ready as I'm ever going to be.
Okay, this is always fun. I love some of these questions, and as we go along here, you're going to learn some very interesting little tidbits. This first one, about how many words are in the U.S. tax code? I have a feeling you know this.
Well, I've personally read them all.
I was going to say, please tell us all.
Just, somewhere around 4 million words, Amy, are in the tax code.
Just 70,000 pages a night, maybe? Or?
Give or take. In my free time with 7 kids, this is what I do in the evenings. No, I mean, obviously it's become pretty complex, right? It's why I think most people are seeing professionals today to help them. Their CPAs, their EAs. The thing about it is by the time they settle down and get to actually see their CPA, it's kind of like seeing a mortician. They're just going to bury you every year with taxes. I know that sounds awful.
That was awful.
But the thing that I think you can take away from that is that with a little advanced planning, hopefully you can get the tax grave a little more shallow. Yeah. And that's what we try to pay attention to is those 4 million words, they matter. And so how do we make that work?
It's a lot of words, 70,000 pages long, all those rules, regulations, various legal jargon that makes up all of it. We're glad you've read it all. You take care of that for us. Okay, next question. What year did the IRS begin requiring taxpayers to list their dependents' Social Security numbers?
That goes back a couple decades. Actually, 1987 is when they enacted this. And it became pretty important for people like me. I have 7 kids. And it's not just about the kids, it's about what comes along with the kids when you're actually filing the tax return. You get deductions for them, you get credits, you can even receive when they go to college some extra advantages. So what they really wanted to make sure is that nobody was making it up, although I think they double check my return every year.
Seven? They're like, is that for real? Okay, here we go. True or false is more than 20% of returns filed on paper have at least one error.
Sadly, yes. The human mistakes that go into the paper filing are enormous, and the government is going to pay special attention to you if you are doing a hand-done return. There's so many great options for people today, from your things like TurboTax, that are just maybe better resources and can help you avoid that, so you're not subject to those audits.
Okay, and speaking of little oopsies, pay attention to one of the trivia questions coming up that's going to come into play. Okay, next one. True or false, the IRS has more people working for it than the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
Our government definitely takes collecting its money pretty seriously. So the answer is true. There's 90,000 employees working for the IRS, and they're beefing this up. We're talking about getting over 100,000 employees. Now, in comparison, just to give you context, there's only 37,000 people working for the FBI. So the taxes really matter, and it's why we want to pay special attention to them.
They're all working for us. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good to know, right? Mhm. Okay, here we go. This is a fun one. What famous venue is exempt from property taxes? A lot of people have heard of this. They might not know this fact about it, though.
Well, being an avid basketball fan myself, and I gather you played too?
I did. We have so much in common.
You know, hopefully you've got a great outside three.
I do. Point guard.
Solid.
All right.
It's Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
This is enacted. It was supposed to be temporary for a few short years of around 10 years, I think. And it actually stuck around for ages. So we can see sometimes the government definitely favors a few venues here and there.
But did you know why it stuck around?
No.
It stuck around because it was worded incorrectly so that the exemption will be in effect as long as the Knicks and Rangers keep playing their home games there. So this one little typo is all that kept it from being exempt. So typos in the tax code could impact us maybe down the road.
Absolutely. And go Knicks.
Go Knicks. I love it. All right. Still to come, you'll learn some of the simple steps you can take today to help you start crafting a plan to be more tax-wise in retirement. After all, how useful is all this knowledge without action? Stay tuned.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Welcome back. If today's show made you stop and think that you are perhaps overpaying on your tax obligation, and if no one has ever talked to you about ways these simple but impactful tax code insights can help you keep more of your wealth, then EA Buck would like to provide you a free tax summary guide. And Katie is back with me now. We've had such a great show, so much wonderful information for our viewers to take away. I know it's a lot to pack into their brains, but you're always here to help.
You know, Amy, you said something really insightful before. It's the actions we take that drive the results, right? Reaching out to us today and getting in your hands the tax summary guide can be the first step that you can take towards that action. Then we can help you further by actually scheduling your first meeting with one of our financial advisors. Sitting down during that meeting, we'll be able to offer you a forecast on those taxes that you're going to owe. The results of this, an hour spent, could save you thousands of hours of headaches, because the education and information that you need on the tax code can be the difference to getting a great outcome from a good outcome. We hope to see these families walking through our front doors in the very near future.
And I think knowledge is power, like we've said throughout this show, just really understanding what our options are, forward thinking, those types of things. We've gained so much insight. I learn something every time I sit down with you. That's the great part.
Well, I appreciate that. I think the reason we named the show Retirement Made Simple is that we like to take the complex and make it easier for families to understand. The tax code, as we talked about, is heavy with 4 million words in it. What do you do with that at the end of the day? Well, you take the first step and you reach out to get the tax summary guide from us. We're here to really help those families make a change in their life in the positive.
Okay, we'll let you do the heavy reading and the heavy helping when it comes to taxes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Katie. And the retirement landscape is constantly changing. Katie and her team are here to stay on top of all the changes to the tax code and the latest strategies to help you save, so you can spend your time doing what you love with the people who matter most to you. EA Buck helps make the complex simple, putting the financial focus on you. For Katie and the team at EA Buck Financial Services, I'm Amy Sharp. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next time.